Veterans Affairs Minister Matt Keogh says the government will be responding as soon as possible to the recommendations of an interim report by the Royal Commission into Veteran Suicide. The government says it's already responding to some of the more disturbing evidence presented to the inquiry.
During the election campaign, Labor committed to creating another 500 jobs to enable the Department of Veterans Affairs to start clearing a massive backlog of compensation claims. There are 51,000 claims, but 34,000 are yet to be processed. The Veterans Affairs Minister says a high turnover of departmental staff will also be addressed urgently.
That is something that we are doing to make sure that we're able to also remove the high rate of labour hire that exists within the Department of Veterans Affairs in particular. And that's caused concern not only for those people that are employed in that arrangement, which has meant that they haven't had secure employment, but it means there's a high degree of churn of staff within the department, which means as they are being trained on what is complex legislation, if they are leaving, there's been a continuous need to retrain, and that has resulted in an inefficiency in processing claims.
Among the key recommendations of the Royal Commission's interim report, calls to simplify and harmonise veteran compensation and rehabilitation legislation, eliminate the claims backlog, improve the administration of the claims system, the Department of Veterans Affairs to provide advice on its funding needs, and remove the department's average staffing level cap. The veteran suicide death toll is higher than the number of losses recorded in the last 20 years of ADF activity in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Minister says the challenge of addressing the mental health of veterans upon their return is defined by the number of Australians connected to the Defence Forces.
We saw the census data that came out just a few months ago showing there are currently 581,000 people in Australia alive now that at some point served during their life. So the scope is huge. There is a great degree of difficulty in assisting people transition from their lives in defence through to civilian life. There are, I think, multifactorial complex issues behind that. Some of those may be cultural, or they may be structures that are in place that are just not fit for purpose and haven't evolved in a way that we would expect or need to see.
Although the Morrison government slashed $430 million from the department's budget despite the backlog, the opposition leader Peter Dutton has pledged bipartisan support for the Royal Commission's recommendations.
A way in which our country provides support to our veterans should be a source of national pride, not shame. And I want to make sure that we can support the government in every reasonable step that they take in responding to the Royal Commission, to providing additional support, to reducing and hopefully bringing to zero the numbers who seek to take their own lives. And as a coalition, absolutely commit ourselves to supporting good measures.
Mr Keogh says the government was determined not to sit on the interim findings and will keep acting on them ahead of the Royal Commission's final report. Adam Walters, Sky News.